I'd like to welcome everyone to the weekly check-in. Usually my co-host is Jessica Leigh, but she's got working late tonight, and she's a therapist. She's got a patient working late. So I'm going to have to be your therapist tonight, guys. You guys are in trouble. This is the weekly check-in. We got a great panel tonight. My friend, the very funny Steve Turgeon. How you doing, Steve?
How are you, John?
Doing all right. And we got from New York City, my man, the very funny Johnny O'Connor with the bow tie.
Johnny, this is what Amazon Prime can get you, baby. Right here.
Don't even get into that because I never bought off them. My wife does it all the time. I said, that's crazy. You're getting packages coming and going. I'm taking stuff back. All of a sudden, 2 weeks ago, I ordered snow boots. They came the next day. I saved $70 by getting the credit card. Now, all of a sudden, I'm Amazon Prime. I buy 2 pairs of jeans. I bought a portable heater. Now I'm an addict for Amazon Prime. In a week and a half, I'm jonesing. Not good, John. Not good. I said I would never do this, and now I got another addiction.
So, John O'Connor, is that an actual bow tie, or is that one of those clip-on babies?
This is an actual bow tie.
Oh, he's a bow tie guy. He's a bow tie guy.
Wow, that's impressive.
I learned how to tie it just for this show.
He's good. He's good. We're going to get over to our next guest. Very funny actress, comedian, tarot card reader. She's
it's me.
A model. She does all kind of stuff. Alessandra Grima. How you doing, Alessandra?
Pretty sure it wasn't me.
Hi, everybody.
You went out to dinner tonight with your dad. Where'd you go?
I did. He actually, but I don't know. We haven't gone out anywhere, but he actually, we went to Twin River.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. There was like nobody there. So
I was gonna say, is that open?
No,
yeah. Open.
Did you gamble or
I walked in and I realized like I looked like I work there, and I was like, so I kept my coat on.
Like, Did you eat or gamble?
We ate.
Oh, you ate. So you go to a casino to eat. The last time I went to a casino, I to have a hot dog, I lost $1,000. So I mean, I can't go there.
That's probably
I'd rather stay on Amazon Prime. What's that?
He's probably doing that right now.
Well, your father, you recently posted that he brought over some Italian sausage, Italian bread, and I remember I put something on that post. Tell your father to put me on a delivery group.
Yes. He said he will give you the sausage as long as you understand it's just
okay.
Food. Just the food.
Just food.
Just the food. Yes.
I think I met your father at a show. Didn't I meet your father?
Yeah, I'm sure you met him at a ton of shows.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. Yeah, he'll just show up. He'll be like, he doesn't like give me like little bread rolls. He'll buy me a huge, like sliced like thing of Italian bread. I'm like, I'm not gonna eat all this, like ever. I don't know why. I don't have kids. I mean, he's just giving me food and bread all the time.
Is he in the bakery business, or is he just stopped at the Shaw's and picks up some bread for you?
Oh,
we don't go to Italian bakery.
Oh, we don't get it at Shaw's, people.
What bakery does he go to?
He'll like go to he'll be like, I went to this other one today. Like it'll be a new bakery every time. I'm down the street. I'm near Colonial over here, but I grew up on Shallows. Okay, Shallows.
Oh, yeah. Federal Hill.
So
did they close? They closed, didn't they?
I don't know. I used to have one in Seekonk. I grew up in Seekonk.
Oh yeah.
So I used to go to that one.
I think the one on Federal Hill closed. I read that a while ago that they closed. I think I'm pretty sure that they went out of business. And then we got actress. She hasn't done comedy yet, but we'll talk her into it before it's over.
Yeah.
Johnny O'Connor's sister, Katie. How you doing, Katie?
Hi, I'm good. How is everyone?
Good. What's going on? You had some new headshots put out on.
I did.
You put them on Facebook and said, which one do you like? And I put which one I liked. They were all great. Who did those for you?
Thank you so much. That was actually Niall Scott, and he's a photographer I've been dying to work with actually for about 4 or 5 years now.
Wow.
And I finally pulled the trigger, and he has this gorgeous studio space in Providence. And he also has a studio in Boston too, but he's an actor. He's a musical theater actor, Shakespeare actor. So he really knows time.
You know, if you break into a convenience store, the police will do that for you for free. Just in case you know.
You
There you
gotta
go.
get Niles to take a picture of Johnny's bow tie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, Jay, you need updated shots with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I need to get some more, but I also haven't been doing any shows or anything. So I was like, what's the rush? Let me lose a couple pounds. Wait till I get back up on stage.
Yeah, I was hoping to fall, and I made the mistake of watching the news tonight. And Biden said not everybody's going to be vaccinated by the end of the summer, and they've been saying they would be vaccinated by the summer. So I'm thinking by the fall. They're not saying they won't be vaccinated by the end of the summer. So I don't know what to make of when we're going to be back.
When they said it was going to be summer, I was like, Christmas. Like, I just already, you know.
It's like dog years. Christmas. You know, the government said summer, that means Christmas.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I knew last year was going to be gone. I mean, people in May were telling me, I'll be back in a couple. I said, this year's gone.
Yeah.
Well, this year I was open September, and now I don't know what to make of it. So we'll just go day by day. That's all we can do. We'll just keep zooming, Johnny. We'll just keep zooming. That's all we can do.
Just keep zooming. I've still got plenty of video games, dude. I'm killing it right now. I'm playing Zelda. I'm playing Overwatch. I just got an Amazon Paperwhite e-reader. Did you ever have that? Because I'm in a studio with my girlfriend, man. There's no room. I can't have a book. Where it's like, where am I going to sleep if I've got this book? So I got the Paperwhite.
That is a small apartment, man.
Yeah, no. But I got the Paperwhite, so you can just get a bunch of books on there. And it's great because it's not, even though I love a book itself, because it's just pages and it smells a certain way. And it's something about reading a book, turning the page, getting somewhere. But there's none of this like trying to prop yourself up and like hold it in one hand. And it's just like, I remember on The Office one time, Daryl, one of the guys on The Office, the TV show, he was at the store and he was like, oh, that's an e-reader. Those things terrify me. They're going to put me out of business. I heard they hold like 10 books at once. And she goes, no, it's 10,000. He goes, holy S, really? Give me that. And he picks it up and he's like, it's so light, like a croissant. That's how I feel with mine. It's like, this is like a pastry.
Johnny, how's your the Spectacular show going?
Spectacular show's going well. I just started leaning on video games, man. I'm just like, you know what? People are downloading it. I'm just going to keep rolling with video games. So for the next month, this buddy of mine, Aaron, he's played a couple of games for me so we can talk about them on the show. He played a game called Final Fantasy VI, which was on Super Nintendo. It's like a 30-year-old game. And it takes like 45 or 50 hours to finish it. But he still played it for me. And we talked about it at length. And we recorded like 7 hours worth of interview for it. So I cut it up and I got a whole month out of it, which is great.
Well, the Spectacular show was a podcast mainly about video games.
It's kind of turned into that, but I do movies stuff and I do, if people want to talk about a book or something. The problem is I want to know what they're talking about. I don't want to just be sitting there like, wow, yeah. So, if they want to do a book, I'll do a book, but I've got to be able to like read the book first. I don't want to go in with
not the real book though, like a Paperwhite book.
A croissant.
Yeah. A croissant like book. Yeah. It can't be a real book.
Flaky book.
I used to I haven't read too much, and I used to read books like Ted Bundy, Serial Killer, Helter Skelter, Charles Manson.
When you were at the prison?
Books like that. Yeah, I was in college, and I had to read all these, so I always chose serial killer books. I would read them and write my reports on it. I don't know why, probably because I met a few when I worked at the prison, but I liked serial killer. I mean, I don't like them, but I like to read them, and I'm fascinated by guys like Ted Bundy. He's guy's out of his mind. He'd go see a girl. He'd have his arm in a sling. He'd say, "Can you come and help me put my board on top of my Volkswagen?" The girl would come. He'd whack her in the head, throw her in the car. And back then there was no cameras around. He went on for quite a while, and then they got him. He escaped from a jail out the window. He went to a sorority house, and I saw the movie. They did a movie. He went in and he killed, I don't know how many girls, 4, 5, 6 girls. That guy he was probably the most craziest. I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer was whacked. I read that. But Ted Bundy, that guy was. Well, anybody else in the serial killer books?
I don't know.
I saw the movie.
Yeah. John,
Ted
it's
Bundy
okay.
movie?
It's okay
Yeah,
if
I
you're
saw-
reading about serial killers. Just don't be writing no manifesto or anything like that. I think we're all set. You'll all be fine.
I would be a lousy serial killer because before I kill it, I'd have to sit down and eat, see what they got in the kitchen. So I'd be eating. By the time I'd
Your
probably
DNA
fall
is-
asleep eating, I'd pass out from eating the sausage and the Italian bread. I'd pass out and I wouldn't even kill it. And I'd
Oh,
leave.
you're murdering me?
And if I came over there to murder you, all right, Alessandra, I'd eat the bread, the sausage, and I'd pass out. You wake me up in the morning, I'd say thanks, and I'd leave.
See, that's the trick. See, you came over to kill me, but you pass out from the food, and I actually murder you. You know, it's my thing.
Yeah.
That's
But
your thing.
I saw the Ted Bundy movie. Like, I don't know anything about murderers. I'm not into it. But I watched the Ted Bundy film, and I'm like, wow, this dude is hot. What's his face? I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
I was like, I get it. I get why people found him charming. And then they show like the real Ted Bundy, and I'm like, that is the creepiest, ugliest dude on the planet. Like, I like you, like just looking at him in footage, I'm like, yeah, that guy's a murderer. Like, I don't know why. Everyone's like, well, he was so handsome and suave. I'm like, that dude looks like he just murdered 10 people.
Yeah, he was in law school. I mean, they caught him from the bite marks on one of the
Yeah.
girls, and he matched his teeth
Yep.
to the bite marks, and that's how they caught him. That's like
Mhm.
crazy. Yeah, it's
Oh,
crazy.
Crazy.
I don't know how we got talking about serial killers. I've known
Yeah.
a
You brought it
few-
up, and you said you had a deep love for serial killers.
Yeah,
Speaking of
that's,
serial
that's how we
killers,
got on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a very good book called Devil in the White City. My friend Jen recommended that to me a few years ago. It's about the Chicago World's Fair, the first one that they did, the big Chicago World's Fair in the early 1900s.
Devil in
White City.
White City.
And it's two simultaneous, it's like fictionalized account of what really happened. And it was all based in truth. The World's Fair came to Chicago in like 1890 something, 1893. And at the same time, this guy, H.H. Holmes, who was one of the most ruthless serial killers, he moved to Chicago. So all of these people were coming there because there were jobs, there was this expansion, there was all this stuff. And this dude lied and cheated his way into having a whole house built with like a secret soundproof room where he could incinerate bodies.
Yeah.
It was
I've heard
one of
that.
the most fascinating books I've ever read.
I looked
And that
at that
guy
house.
was,
Yeah.
you lived in that house?
I looked at that house. Yeah, no, it was, you know,
Was
some
it in
it had
Warwick?
nice curb appeal, I would say. Yeah, it really did.
But
The
same
other
thing,
one
they all
is,
said he was charming.
Gacy with John Wayne
Yeah.
Gacy. I saw the
Gacy,
movie. I don't think I read the book. I saw the movie. That guy was nuts.
Well,
John
I
Wayne
went
Gacy.
to Northeastern in Boston, and the whole Jack the Ripper thing, this was 20, 30 years before I got there, but it was the same neighborhood. So like you'd be walking down the street and think, oh yeah, they found one of them up there in that apartment. And like,
Oh, you mean the Boston Strangler? or
Boston
you mean,
Strangler. Sorry. Yeah. Boston Strangler.
Yeah. They thought. I know a guy who was a psychiatrist in a prison, and he worked in the prison in Boston. And Albert DeSalvo was the Boston Strangler allegedly, but he claims he wasn't the Boston Strangler, it was someone else. So I don't know if it was him or what. But I saw the movie with Tony Curtis. I'm dating myself. Going back in the '60s, it came out, the Boston Strangler, and it was a good movie. He he would knock on a door, gas man or whatever. The ladies would let him in, and he'd kill him. Boston Strangler. I watched a lot. I don't know if I'm nuts or what, but I watched a lot of serial killer movies. I don't know.
What would be your weapon of choice, John?
Probably the loaf of bread your father gives me.
You
I
leave
don't
it
know if
out
I
on the
can kill
counter for a
anybody
couple
with a
days,
loaf
it'd
of.
be fine. Yeah.
I don't know if I can kill anybody with a loaf of bread, but I mean.
Well, then you could eat the evidence. It's a perfect crime.
That's true. Wow.
Frozen sausage. You beat them with a frozen sausage, and then you eat the evidence. Never get
I,
caught
I wouldn't mind that at all. That's fun.
by being beaten with a frozen sausage.
Either. I'm
Oh,
down
okay.
for either side of that scenario.
There's a bunch of other serial. You ever get into a serial killer movie, Katie?
I'm actually a big scaredy cat.
Me too.
Are you really?
So yeah,
Alessandra too?
like
Yes.
I will have nightmares for
Mhm.
a week.
Me
And
too.
Really?
I literally
Yeah.
hate the dark.
Mhm.
I always think like paranormal. I've seen some paranormal stuff. So
Mhm.
it just, I don't even try to watch. No.
There's a good horror movie I caught a few weeks ago, The Cleaning Lady. it's pretty freaky. It starts out slow, but it gets pretty freaky. Alessandra, I want you to watch that tonight. So I think it's on Netflix or Amazon Prime. The cleaning lady.
Yeah. Did any of you watch Ozark?
And then you tell her what it is.
Never. I would pee my pants.
Ozark, you guys see Ozark? That's
No.
on Netflix.
Oh, it's on my bucket. No, it's on my list, literally.
Oh,
I'm trying to go
freaky.
through all the shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a movie or a series?
It's a series.
Series.
It's about drug dealers in the Ozarks. Yeah, hence the name. So,
Was it pretty good?
yeah, it was really good. You know, I was counting dead bodies in the first like 3 episodes, and I got up to 24 before I lost count.
Wow.
So, so you know what you're getting into.
Everybody's like watching these great new shows, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch Seinfeld again.
Yeah, that's classic. Come on.
I don't watch Johnny. I don't watch any. They stream this. I'm streaming this. I watch horror movies, sports, news. I watch action movies. I don't know. I just don't get into the episodes where it says episodes. I don't even watch them. I mean,
It depends what it is. I've got like a few, like I watched, not when it was on. Let me take that back. I watched it when it was in the last season. So I watched all of it, and then I watched the last season as it was on. I watched Breaking Bad like that. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, that was your thing.
But then they did Better Call Saul, and Better Call Saul is like it's about a character from Breaking Bad. So it's like that guy's story. So I really like that one. And now Mandalorian, that's all I want.
Yeah,
I
watched
Star
all
Wars
that.
show.
And Bill Burr's in that, right?
Bill Burr is in that.
Bill Burr is in it.
He's great. He's really good.
Yeah. Now here's a pandemic. What a year he had, right? He was in that. He made a movie, The King of Staten Island, that came out. He hosted Saturday Night Live. Most of us comedians, actresses, pandemic, we got nothing going on. And Bill Burr did all that in 1 year in a pandemic. So I think he did pretty good.
Now you've told this story before, John, but Bill started out with you, right?
Well, I started all around the same time he did. He was going to open mics that I was going to, and then I started putting shows together. And I booked him once to host a $25 spot to host a show at a place called Old McDonald's Chicken Farm in Swansea, Mass. It was my first. I came up with the idea: all you can eat, all you can laugh, dinner comedy show. And I said, Bill, you want to host the show? Yeah. So we had bushy red hair. He went up. He did great. I had him a few different places. Got a little friendly with it. All of a sudden, he was gone. And 10 years later, I'm in a comedy club, like 2004, Stitches Comedy Club in the Providence Place Mall. I look up, and there's Bill Burr with a Comedy Central special. And I was
Oh
like,
my
wow.
God. That's
And then
wild.
I knew, then he came to the Comedy Connection in 2009 when Eric Hoffman owned it, and he let me open one of the shows for him. And Bill Burr said, hey, tell him how you paid me $25 at a chicken farm. And then, he's a good guy. He's had a heck of a career, boy, I'll tell you.
He came to my college.
Didn't they just open the Comedy Connection?
Yeah, the Comedy Connection's open. I'm not sure how many they're allowed to seat in there. I don't know the details, but I know they're open. Like this weekend, I heard they got 6 shows because Monday's a holiday. So they got. I guess they must have 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday.
Oh wow! Yeah, I saw some post by Marty Caproni about getting booked.
Yeah, he's gonna be there. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. So
Hi, Marty, if he watches. I miss that guy.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, Marty. Cool guy.
So John, who else have you worked with? What's your celebrity list look like? All the people that you've done shows with. I know you opened for Bill a couple times. Didn't you do the Cape Cod Melody Tent or something like that recently?
It was the Hampton
I love
Beach.
that venue.
Yeah, it was the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom. Yeah, I got lucky there. I opened for him, and I worked with Tammy Pescatelli, who's been on Tonight Show, made a movie. I met her. She was really nice. I met her in Connecticut at a gig, and then she got friendly with us, and that was it. We were Facebook friends. And then like 6 months later, she said, I got a show at the Friars Club. It's an Italian themed show. Do you want to be in it? And it was like, so I went and did the Friars Club with that with Bill Burr and then the Friars Club. Those are my 2 biggest of my career. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
The only thing is I'm a dummy. I should have got a camera, invested in a camera and taped the set because of course they tell me to do 12 minutes. And of course I have one of the best sets of my life. And she says, stay up there. she says, stay up there. And I do 25 minutes. And I did fantastic. Sometimes we suck, but that night I was on. And I don't have a camera. I don't have anybody filming me. At the Friars Club. I mean, I'll never be at the Friars. It was a one-shot thing. I'm at the Friars Club. Tape the set, dummy. I didn't tape the set, So what are you gonna do?
I don't think I've heard of the Friars Club.
Friars Club it's where they do like a lot of the roast. You go in there and it's got like the Milton Bill room, the old time comedians, the Don Rickles room, the Jerry Lewis room. I went in there. It's all the old time comedians in it, and they know other ones too. And they roast. They have a roast. A certain comic they'll roast them. And the Friars Club is like a lot of history. You know what I mean?
So it's like an iconic spot.
Yeah, I went there. I had a suit on, a tie, and I'm like, I was sweating. I go in, and like I said, the Milton Bill room. I'm walking around, and I'm like, I'm out of my mind. How am I going to do this? I was really, really nervous. I was like, panic attack, nervous. I'm in the Friars Club. I'm in a bomb over here. I'm a nervous wreck. And then we ate, and then the show started. She was going to put me on like second. And then she said, you know what? I know you work the crowd. I'll put you last, which turned out good for me. So I went on last. I liked that. There was 5 comics and Tammy Pescatelli hosted. I went last and it went well,
Oh, that's awesome.
Johnny, dummy, no camera. Johnny, no camera.
Now you played Dangerfields too, right?
Well, that was an open mic. Johnny came out there to see me. Yeah. Johnny came out and Stacy Kendro and Doug Key and Beecher. Yeah, I went out there like 3 times. It was a lot. I'll tell you, the first time it was an open mic, but the first time I was at Dangerfield, I was excited as hell. Because, Sam Kinison was on that stage, and Dice Clay, and Dangerfield. And so I found it exciting, but.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first show ever?
My first show?
Oh, that's a good one.
We're interviewing you today.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
1983, Periwinkle's Comedy Club. Got up, had a really good set. Was in the arcade. Got up 2 more times. I didn't know it was the comedy boom in the 80s. I said, I'm going to walk away from this. I stink. So I walked away. And 8 years later, I went to the Comedy Connection. There was a great Boston comic, Jonathan Katz, and he was awesome. I'm sitting there thinking, I got to try this again. And that was 30 years ago this October. So I've been doing it like 29 years.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
I didn't give up this time. This time I knew sometimes you're going to do really good. Sometimes you're not going to do so good. You got to hang in there. Like Johnny, I met Johnny at the Asia Grill in a contest. How many years ago?
Oh, was it at the Asia Grill, or was it at Julio's? Was it at Julio's on Mineral Spring Ave?
Charlie Hall, Asia Grill.
Yeah, it was the Rhode Island Comedy Fest when Charlie did it for a couple of years. Yeah, I met you there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I met you. How long ago was that, Johnny?
That was probably like 07, 08. I met so many people there. I met you there. I met Rick Canavan there. I met Mike Hanley there. I met Maya Mannion there. I met a bunch of my friends there at that contest.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And there was a kid. Remember there was a kid? His name was Zach. I forget his last name.
Zach Sylvain. Young
was
kid.
It Zach Sylvain? Yeah.
He's in the military now. Married.
Is he?
With a baby and everything. Yeah.
Good for him. He was like in high school. And he was up doing a comedy show. And I just remember being like, this kid is so brave. Like didn't even want to give a presentation in high school, like in my class, let alone go to a bar full of people.
Yeah, he was
That's
14
really brave.
And he won the contest.
Yeah.
He won it one year. He won it. Yeah. Yeah, I remember I took oral communications at CCRI Community College of Rhode Island. So we had to get up in front. This was before I got into comedy. I had to get up, and that was a wreck. I had to get up in front of the class and demonstrate how to do something. So I said, I'm Italian. I asked my mother, demonstrate how to make a pizza. She told me what to do. I bring all the ingredients. I put them on the table. Everybody's looking. The teacher's looking. I got the sauce. I drop it all over my sneakers, all over the floor. The whole class is laughing. So it turns into a comedy event, but that's not what it was supposed to be. So the teacher's fuming. There's sauce all over the place. They got to get a cleanup crew. It didn't work out well, Johnny. I got a C in that class.
But you were killing it, dude.
I had a great set.
Yeah.
It wasn't the time to have a great set.
Yeah. So last year, so I've been doing this with you, John, for like 4 years. Last year at work, I end up having to do this big presentation in front of my entire department. There's like 150 people there. So I did it like I would a comedy show, and I killed. I was
You were
telling
telling jokes?
jokes. I was running around. I was doing all sorts of stuff. They loved it. It was a great.
Yeah, I love
I had a
it.
great set. It just happened to be at work.
I always loved presenting. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was never a problem.
Never a
Attention?
problem.
Yeah.
Girl,
Right.
how long have you been in this? I don't even know.
It'll be 10 years on the 22nd.
How did you get into it?
Into comedy?
Yeah.
My aunt was a comedian in LA growing up when I was growing
Oh,
up
wow.
in the 80s. She was, I mean, she came up like with Robin Williams and Arsenio Hall, like that whole thing.
Wow. I didn't know
so-
that.
That's amazing.
I remember she was on the Gong Show. I don't know what that is, but
Oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
The masked comedian. You remember him? The guy
Who?
had come out with a bag on his head and he'd
Yeah.
tell like the worst jokes ever.
yeah,
The unknown comic.
The unknown comic. Oh, that was it.
Yeah.
Yes. The unknown comic.
But,
Yes.
I was always the funny kid. So, and I knew what a comedian was like at a very young age. So I always wanted to be a comedian or SNL. I was like obsessed with SNL. I still am. And I didn't do it till I
I
was
could see you on that.
22. Thanks. Yeah, I write a lot of sketch comedy. I studied at UCB in New York, so
Wow. Good for you.
I mean, I'm qualified. But yeah, so I just finally tried it. I actually went to open mics to see everyone else first. And I would go because I didn't know anything about it. So I went to one and I was like, okay, like some of these people suck. So like it's okay.
That's the way it is.
Yeah. Well,
Where did I meet you, Alessandra? Where did we meet? One of the open mics? Or?
Okay. A girl at my work told me that I need to meet John Perrotta if I'm doing comedy.
I wish.
And I think she gave me your phone number because I remember talking to you on the phone, but I don't remember the first time we met in person. I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Was she a friend to him?
I think her dad was like or someone
Oh.
or a friend or something. But she was like, if you're gonna do comedy, you in Rhode Island, you have to know John Perrotta.
Yeah, that's because I ran so many open mics, you know, and I ran open mics because when I started in '83, I got up 3 times, I quit, and I always had a chip on my shoulder because when I came back, I'm like, I wish somebody kind of took me under their wing and said, hey, you know. So I said to myself, I'm gonna do open mics and I'll help comics get stage time, and that's what I did. Any comic on stage, I go up, give them my card, call me up, and I get all the comics involved, and I dedicated a lot of what I do to helping the comics, new comics, and that's how I get to know John,
That's
Alessandra,
amazing.
Steve.
Yeah.
So a big part of what I've done is be involved with the new comics, and then some of them like John and Alessandra's know well, Steve's know well. John became a headliner, headline shows for me, and I knew him when I met him in a contest. He was open micer and shot up, and he became a headliner. He does phenomenal, your brother.
That was when I felt like I finally had like reached a point. Was the first time DiLorenzo, poor Dave, he passed, but when Dave DiLorenzo booked us one time, and it was the first time he ever put me on last. You went up and then me, and we both had good sets, but I remember feeling like I can finally follow Perrotta, man. I've like reached a new level.
I don't know. I had to follow Perrotta once, and it was terrible.
Oh, I bombed hard following Perrotta, but that was like the first time I'm like, oh, that was back when I used to go on stage and I'd wear like a leather jacket. Like I thought I was like the man.
Yes.
John,
we haven't been on stage in so long.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know. I mean, I haven't been on stage since March 15th. If I had to get up now, I used to be able to do 45 minutes. I wouldn't want to commit to more than 10, 15 minutes.
Same.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I feel like I have like nothing. I'm like, I don't even know where to begin. I'm like,
My mind, I don't know, but my mind's blank, Alessandra. My mind's blank.
I feel you. I get it.
I mean, I watch some videos here and there myself, and I'm like, how am I going to remember this stuff? Because we were getting on stage so much.
Yeah.
We knew our act. We had it down.
Yeah.
Now, it's like you take away the stage from us and the mic.
It's
and
weird.
2 years later, we're going to get up and we're not going to be. Take a while to get shot.
I got a list of stuff I want to try still. New stuff from the last year. I said I don't know if any of it's funny, but the only way to find out is to go do it. So I'm ready.
Yeah.
There's open mics around. There are open mics.
Yeah.
You know, but
I never liked open mics because you could never tell if your stuff was any good because the crowd, it was only mostly other comedians and they were all more worried about their set than anything you were going to say.
Well,
So
and we laugh less. I
Yeah.
think we're more critical.
But that's
I
how you know it
that.
works.
Yeah, I like
If
that
it works
because
at the
we-
mic, it's gonna murder the club. Probably.
Yes.
Probably.
Exactly.
You can also
If
go
can
too
get
dark.
comedians to laugh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I
You
missed
could
that.
also go too dark. Like sometimes the comedian goes
Yeah.
up and it's a room
That's
full
true.
of like all these jaded, insecure people. So you go up and you start really laying hard into something really dark and dirty, and everyone's like,
true.
ah, ha, ha, ha. And then you go in the club and they're like, don't ever
And
come
that's
back
not-
here. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
But if the
Yikes.
thing, if it's like a clean or like middle of the road type of a bit,
Mhm.
or just a good joke, if it works at the open mic, you know
Yeah.
it works.
It's good to know.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Don't get me
If you can
wrong,
get
you're
around the
gonna
comedians
bomb a
to laugh.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know
Open mics
that's
is tough.
that's part of doing it. That's part of doing it.
I always loved Johnny's bit about the toy store. He's got a toy store. It was like that.
That bit actually was born out of I had that bit. I'd only been doing comedy for like a year and a half, maybe, and I probably had like 15 shows under my belt. And I had to open for. I won the open mic contest at the Comedy Connection in this is like 04, I think, and in Rhode Island. And if you won, you got to host Thursday, you host Friday, you host Saturday. That was your prize. Unpaid work. So fine. So I went out on Thursday, and it was me hosting for PJ Thibodeau and Robbie Prince, who are both very funny comedians. And they were like 10 or 11 people there, and they hated me so much. So Friday, so I was feeling very down. I felt great on Wednesday because everybody loved me. I felt awful on Thursday. And then Friday, I had to host one show. Frank Santos, the X-rated hypnotist, he was the 8 o'clock, which I was not a part of. I was hosting the 10 o'clock for some more from the Queens of Comedy. And they told me I was not doing any time on this show. Yeah, like you're not working, you're literally just bringing the acts up. It was basically like doing the announcements and then bringing on the acts. That was it. And like 5 minutes before I go out there, her manager was like, Are you the MC? And I said, and he goes, Is your act dirty? And I said, No, not really. And then he said, Do you swear a lot? And I said, No. Of course, I was lying because it was all of those things. So then he was like, All right, well, can you do me a favor then and please not mention marijuana in your act tonight because blah, blah. And I was like, Oh, no, I'm not doing any time. And he's like, What? And he like flipped out. He wasn't like yelling at me, but he's like, You got to do time. You're the MC, blah, blah, blah. So he goes and gets the manager and he and like the opening act, this guy, Will Sylvince, he's a New York guy. They're all there. Like some more had like a crew with her, like a posse. Like they're like, he's got to do time. So they send me out there, and I got like 4 minutes before I go up, maybe. And it was like a packed, sold out, 250 people in the room.
And you got nothing planned.
And I got nothing planned. I haven't even thought about it all day because they told me I wasn't doing it. And then also now in my mind, I'm like, I can't swear. I can't be dirty. I can't
talk about marijuana.
I can't do any of that stuff. So now I got nothing. I've got like one bit about Super Mario Brothers, maybe. I got like a candy bit in there somewhere. I got nothing. I go out and I bomb. So I got this dude. I was bombing so hard that there came this moment, like, and I was supposed to do 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I looked at my watch.
2 hours.
I looked at my watch. I had exhausted everything I had, and it was like 4 minutes, 12 seconds. So anyway, I just bring out the first act. I don't even do it. But yeah, this is guy in the back of the room. I was bombing so hard that I did a joke. I got nothing. And then all at once, the whole room was just like, at like how horrible it was. So then I start cracking up because I'm like, if you're not me, this is actually really funny. So then this dude in the back stood up and he was like, Oh, don't stop. You on fire now. And the whole place went crazy. And I was like, all right, that's enough out of me. And I brought out the X. And then I ate it. I didn't even leave the club. I made sure the whole club was empty before I left. I didn't even want to go outside and risk someone seeing me.
Not a good day in the life of John O'Connor.
So the next night I had to host the 8 o'clock on Saturday and the 10 o'clock, but it was I think it was PJ headlining or maybe Robbie Prince, I forget. But Artie Januario from Boston, he's a funny dude. He was the middle act. And I went out and I had prepared all day. I spent all day writing that Toy Store bit because I'd been sitting on it since I started comedy. And I spent the whole day, and it was one time, and I just went out, and I'm like, there's no way it's going to be worse than last night. And I went out, and I was like, bang, 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 bang. And they all were going nuts. And I was like, and I'll never forget, I was like the first time I did like a psych up move for the audience. I was like, are you guys ready to start this show? Yeah! They all scream like this. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get them now. And I was like, I said, are you ready? He's going nuts. I bring out Artie Januario, and he comes out and he shakes my hand and he leans in and he whispers and he goes, I think the show's already started, John. And I walked off stage and I was like, and Becky Melly, she's the bartender there. She was a waitress. She was like, you did so good. And I literally fell on my knees like I just scored a goal in the World Cup in the back. And I put my hands up in the air like that. It was one of the worst nights followed by one of the best nights I ever had in stand-up.
That's how this business is.
Yep.
You can hit a grand slam one night, and the next night tell the same jokes, and they're looking at you.
Could also do it 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, night and day sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Katie, what's going on with you? You got any? I know it's tough with the COVID. I know you're an actress. You said before the show we were talking. You were in the female version of The Odd Couple. So
I was.
What was that?
That was in college, though.
Oh, that was in college. What have you got anything going on, or you wait until?
I have a couple of things lined up, but I'm very superstitious, so I don't like to really talk about it too much. Let's just say there's hopefully some things in the works.
What have you done in the past? What were some of your best performances that you did?
Several adult films. Very.
I thought I recognized
sister,
you.
Johnny.
I'm just kidding.
I hate you.
I remember you
hate
now.
I'm signing off now. Good night. No, I'm kidding.
She knows I'm joking.
I would say, honestly, I really miss theater. I haven't done theater in a few years now. So I'm hoping in the near future I can do some more theater because I really miss doing shows like Arsenic and Old Lace. I did a show called Bad Jews, and the reason why I love theater so much is because you don't necessarily do it on a typical stage. You can do shows in a temple, which is where that show was actually performed. So that gives it like a different experience. And also there's nothing like, you guys know, a live audience, I love film and everything, but there's nothing like actually living in the moment and feeding off of the energy of the audience, because with acting as well, it's could be a good night, could be a bad night. Like you guys saying you bombed one night. I specifically remember a play where I forgot my lines and it was like silence up there and you're like, oh God, how are we going to reel this in? How are we going to say this?
So true.
And it feels like it's going and ticking like forever, like molasses when,
It feels honestly like because I did a like 40 show run at Newport Playhouse. And awesome. When there's like a silence, you think like you forgot for 10 minutes, but it was probably like 5 seconds.
A second, yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, oh my God, my life is ending right now.
Yes, because then you check in with the audience and they're like, I didn't even notice.
Oh, exactly. It's like a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
I did a show down in South Carolina and I had 15 minutes. I was actually the New South Comedy Festival. My brother lived down there. I went down to perform and I'm doing my bit. I'm doing really well. And I'm getting to the end of my material and the light's not going on. Then we're going to light me at 14 minutes and I should be at 14 minutes. So I get done, I get off the stage and I look at my set list. I missed like a whole 5 minutes of my set. I just forgot to do it.
Oh no.
And I was like, son of a bitch.
It's a good thing you're not an actor. My only acting experience, Alessandra Katie, I went out for a Benny's commercial. And
Really?
I think I knew that.
Yeah, I got this.
Wow.
This is a few years back,
don't
and
know.
I got this. I go in, I tanked for a Benny's commercial, and then Nick Albanese had me in this. He had a little series
right.
of bread, butter, and bullets. I think I was in one of those. I was a mob guy, but I had my line.
I was just gonna say, Mom.
Well, like when I heard that he tried out for a Benny's commercial, I think we talked about this on one of these. And if you had to pick a person to represent Benny's, wouldn't it be John Perrotta?
Yeah.
Right. Like, what were they thinking?
I couldn't.
yeah.
I can't act.
County,
Hey,
the
I can
attitude.
get on stage and turn it on, but when I go before a camera, that's a different lead. That's a whole different thing.
Totally different.
You got that, or it's different. Like some people, there's comedians that wind up being great actors. Like Steve Martin was a comic, and he was in a lot of great things, and a lot of comedians like that. Me, I can do well on the stage, but then you put me in front of a camera for a commercial, and they say this, and I'm saying, no, say it like this. No, say it like, I just tanked. I can't.
I
can't
wish
do
I
it.
wish I could have seen that audition.
And then
Me too.
John DePietro was on the radio, and he had seen me perform, so he said, "I want you to come. I might want to use you for some of the stuff on the radio." I went and met him one time, and he had me read some stuff, and I didn't get it because I can't transfer it from the stage to trying to act or play a character.
It's a different energy.
Yeah, I can't turn it up. So when I get on stage, I turn it up like Johnny did. I turn it up. But if I'm not on stage, I'm just kind of a Guido Italian laid back guy here.
Yeah, but you have a very distinct voice, which would work really,
Yeah.
really well with certain roles.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to find. So that's why I could see you in a lot of films.
Mhm.
I could see you voicing like a raccoon in a Pixar film.
Yes.
Johnny, look at this.
Absolutely.
Look at this dumpster over here. This thing is chock full of goodness,
look at
brother.
all
Look
the
at
food
this.
here. I can't believe they threw
Everybody
this stuff
join
away.
in. It's
Hey,
the
the
dumpster
sausage.
behind Benny's. I wasn't good enough for Benny's, but now I got their garbage.
I've never voiced anything, Johnny.
I would
never
watch that
voiced
movie.
anything.
Oh,
Benny's
I
the
would
voice
watch
of
that. I
something.
would definitely watch that. Yeah.
If John got that commercial, Benny's would still be open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So take that, Benny's.
Yeah.
So, John, I remember you did a commercial a couple of years ago where you did a cruise. You were trying to get people to go on a cruise where you were. Did you
I was,
ever end up doing that cruise?
I was Rusty Fusco with the Cruise Brothers, and they signed me to do this cruise, and Bobby Bajol, me, and I don't know, they had somebody else, and they actually put a commercial on TV,
Oh no.
and they put my picture and this
Johnny,
and
hold
that,
on,
and-
hold on, Johnny, hold on. You just froze for a second. Tell us again.
Yeah, start over.
You just froze for a second. We all lost you.
Well, Rusty Fusco, he's him and his brother, the Cruise Brothers. They book cruises, so they decided we had a meeting. They're gonna get me, Bobby Bajol, he's an Italian rapper, and there was another singer, and we're gonna go on this cruise. And they put commercials on. They spent quite a bit running these commercials, and not many people signed up for it. It never happened. So I got people still coming up to me. How was that cruise? How did it? So I should make up a lie. The cruise never happened. I mean,
Oh man.
No, you got to make something up, John. It's like, oh, it was great. The captain, he had a heart attack. I had to drive the ship all the way to Bermuda. I mean,
I always
Yeah.
wanted to go on. I was in the Navy, but I wanted to really go on a regular cruise, and I was excited. I'll be performing, and they put the commercial on for a couple of months, and they had to get so many people to sign up, and they didn't get enough people. They called me and said the cruise is canceled. So that was my cruise career. What are you gonna do,
Wow.
Alessandra?
Damn.
I have a question for you guys.
What do you got, Katie?
Do you all, because I don't do comedy, I don't do stand-up comedy. Do you all write your material and memorize it before you go on stage, or do you just go up there with ideas in your head? Maybe, oh, I'm gonna try to talk about this tonight and see where it goes.
Everyone's-
Like,
Everyone's
Alessandra.
different.
We'll start with Alessandra.
yeah, I want to know your
everyone-
like techniques.
Everyone's different. I like writing. I have to see it, so I type it. I type it all out. How I speak,
Wow.
I type it. But I don't. And then I'll memorize it, and then when I'm on stage, I'll ad lib and do improv in between. But I
That's
need to have
amazing.
like a solid memorized thing so that I can go off. You know what I mean? That's how I am.
Yeah, you do a great job, Alessandra. You do a great job.
I have yet to see you, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you
Cool.
definitely got to see it. We'll be putting all you guys in shows. Johnny, what do you got to say to Katie's question?
I do typing. When I was younger, I went up and I just like blah, 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 and I do like 5 minutes and have like 2 punchlines. I'd spend like 2 minutes getting to the setup. You know what I mean? Like now, Ralphie May, if there's any comedians watching this or anybody who's interested, if you can find it, I think it's on Vimeo. Ralphie May, who is also sadly passed on, he has a great, it's like a 3-hour video where he just sat on stage at the Comedy Store, I believe, and he just taught comedians how to do comedy. And he said, handwrite your whole act out. I don't handwrite it. I type it like Alessandra does, but basically write your whole act out. And if you can look at the joke that you have or look at the lines that you have, and if you can take out a word and the joke still works, get rid of the word because it's just wasted time. And if you can do that like 100 times in a 10-minute set, now all your material is just tighter. And that's what you want. You want you want the cleanest, quickest path, because comedy's magic, right? The punchline is the reveal. Presto, right? So you want to get like the cleanest path, even if it's one word. I told Brian Bowden, he had a joke. He was telling me like about this joke he had where the punchline was like, it was a Top Gun joke, and forgive me, I haven't seen Top Gun. To save it and don't go, oh, you haven't seen? No, I haven't seen it. Sorry, I don't care. So there's 2 guys in the film. One is named Goose and one is named Iceman. And I forget the joke Brian had, but it was basically like, blah, 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 I'm Goose. And that was the punchline. And then he goes, no, I'm Iceman. And I was like, no, do Goose. Because the joke is the exact same joke. Whether you're Goose or whether you're Iceman, unless contextually it matters, it doesn't matter. The punchline is who you are. So if you can get the same laugh, Goose is 1 sound, Iceman is 2 sounds. And the payoff is the same thing. It's the reveal of the name. So get the laugh with one sound.
Goose just sounds funnier.
Goose is, it's almost the word goof.
Yeah.
It's almost the word goof. It's a
Goose
funnier
is way
sounding
funnier
word.
than Iceman, yeah.
So I told him, I was like, no, stick with Goose. That's a way better punchline.
Yeah. And even if you don't know about Top Gun, you would just think he's like, that's like, he's a person that says I'm Goose when he messes up or something. Like,
Yeah.
It's funny still. Yeah.
So that's I do what Alessandra does. I type it out and then now I look at it and now I take out any. I didn't do that when I started, man. For years it was like, I'm just gonna. Yeah, it was a. I was not very disciplined in the beginning. That year I moved back from Texas. I put a lot of work in. Before that, I was a disaster.
I like that you say that you weren't that disciplined. I feel like that's how it is too with acting. You grow to learn. Like this is how it has to be. You have to be more disciplined.
I think you can always be more disciplined. I wish I had been more disciplined. But that year between Texas and New York, that year and a half, I was Johnny on the spot. I'll say that.
Johnny on the spot.
That was my best duration of comedy ever. That year and a half, whatever it was.
Yeah, you always do awesome, Johnny.
Yeah.
Steve, what do you do,
Steve?
You always do.
So I write mine out, so I know exactly what I'm going to say. But it's instead of, I don't think I've ever actually written my entire set out on paper, but I will practice it over and over again, and I'll practice the inflection, I'll practice the facial expression, I'll practice the hands, I'll practice the whole thing. And when I get on stage and I get nervous, one thing that I do is I actually start going faster. So because I know it, and so I have comfort in knowing what the next thing's going to say. And particularly if it's not going well, I just go faster and faster and faster and faster. So I've had to teach myself to slow down and to give the joke a chance to work and to pause in between the sets and not just, go on the auctioneer type run. But again, I will practice the whole thing and I'll write the set out on a index card when I go. And each joke's just one word on the index card, and I go front and back and, and I just know that one joke will trigger. Okay, I got this whole bit that I do here. So
wow.
Yeah.
See, for me, when I started, I was a prop comic at the beginning. Believe it or not, I had wigs and glasses, and
Eddie Galvin.
I had a plane I used to throw off a wall. I had a doll. I had all wacky stuff.
I cannot believe there's not video of this somewhere.
I
need to see
really.
this. I need to see it.
I was whacked.
Don Perrotta in his wig with his doll. I would have paid money for that.
I used to go up with an index card and write like something in each joke to remember. But then one day I just said, I used to try to do the jokes all in order. One day I threw the index card. I just went up and I started, and little by little, I saw the crowd work did better for me, the improv than the material. So eventually, it took me a bunch of years of performing. I started doing more and more crowd work, and I got to the point where I could go up and do 45 minutes. I had some material. My material's not that great, but the crowd work worked better, and I would go. So I go up and wing it, and that's worked for me. I go up and I mean, it was pressure for it. You got to do a half hour, but I just was winging it, and eventually it worked for me. And I don't know how.
I think your material's fun. Like Mark still quotes. You had this older joke. It was something about the kid's head was so big. You looked in the crib and it was like a neck breathing. Is that something like that? Every time
I look at a guy and I'll say, look at the neck on this guy.
Yes, that's right.
When you were born, they looked in. When you were born, they looked in the crib. There was a giant neck breathing.
Yes. If my neck hurts or if I crack my neck, if anything involving a neck happens, I've been with Mark for 10 years. He'll say neck breathing. Like he'll still say that because of that joke. He said it today.
I got some of my jokes at the moment. It's my crowd work, Johnny's. My crowd work looks better than my material. That's just the way. But I remember the crowd, the material, and I'll switch back and forth. It's just I don't go up. I got like set stuff, but I don't really plan it. I go up cold all the time. That's how I go up.
That's like my biggest nightmare.
Me too. I'm like, oh God. No.
And I did a lot of improv growing up, and that's still my nightmare. That would be a nightmare.
Don't get me wrong. I was new when I started headlining the Comedy Connection for a while there, and I had to go up, and it was a packed house, and I had to do 45 minutes. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'm nuts. I got 200 people here, and I'm like, all right, what am I going to do? I just go up and do it. It was nuts, and then I look at my watch, and I wouldn't look at my watch for as long as I could. Then I look, I'm at a half hour, I got 15 minutes left, and I wouldn't look. A while later, I look, I got 5 minutes left. If you keep looking at your watch, you start getting nervous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want. I try not to look at my watch. If I got to do 45, the worst thing I can do is look at my watch after 10 minutes in. That's it. I don't look at my watch as long as I can. Usually it'll be 25, 30, 35 minutes, and I'm all right. You know what I mean? But we had a lot of fun doing this, Johnny. I worked with Johnny a lot.
Oh yeah.
Last one weekend we had a great show. Comedy Connection was myself, Johnny, Maya Mannion, and Will Noonan. That's a great show.
That was a great weekend.
Yeah. I worked with Will quite a bit back. Yeah, he's doing really well.
Will's a funny dude. The first time I ever met him, I was hosting a show. It was I think it was a charity show, but it was me hosting, Will doing the middle spot, and Bowden headlining. And Will came on stage, and you know how the connection to Rhode Island, that step is like deceivingly high.
Yes.
Everybody thinks it's like one step, but it's actually like 14 inches or whatever it is. So many people face plant going up there. And poor Will, it was his first time. He came up and just boom, face planted. I just rolled him over. Clear. Boom. I did like the paddles, and he got up, and then he just smashed. It was great.
That was a great weekend. I got a picture of the four of us.
Yeah, that was fun, man. That was back in the day. Those were like that was my solid year where I could go up. I'd have a loose idea of my set. I'd want to start with one thing, but I could go in and out. Yeah. And then even if somebody messed up my bit, I could bring it back, rearrange it, and still close the bit on the. I used to be good, man.
You're still good. You're still good.
Not anymore. I'm in the same boat. I don't even know my act anymore.
Yeah,
people are like, "Oh, can you do stuff?" Yeah, I gotta come up with some new stuff. I'm looking forward to getting back up.
I think when we come back, we're gonna have to do some open mics and like do 10 minutes, build up. I could never go do 45 like I used to. I'm gonna have to start with 10 and feel comfortable.
Yeah, you're going to start all over.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna go and do. I can't go 45 minutes if my life depended on it. I wouldn't want. The pressure would be so much. Imagine if you had to do a half hour and they tell you do a half hour, you go now, half hour, you'd be out of your mind.
Well,
yeah, it's like exercise. You gotta start. You gotta start over.
Yeah, you gotta start over. We're starting from square one. At least I know I am, and most comics are. You gotta start somewhere. You gotta have to start. To answer your question, Katie.
Yeah, no, for sure. I want to see my brother. I'm trying to write stuff so I can get my brother to act with me because he's so gifted that I'm
that would
like,
be cool.
I
He'd be a
gotta
great
see him
actor.
act
I am
again.
an
Yeah, he'd be
excellent
excellent.
actor. I'm
Johnny
very,
was in
very
in
good
Ray
at
Harrington
acting.
and Derek Furtado's web series, The
He was
Undefended.
so
Yeah,
good.
it was
That was
called
he.
The John O'Connor Show, and who gives a crap about that?
He was awesome. He was awesome.
You
He
know
played
what?
the
I
was
bet
a
you you'd
fun-
be great as a voice of an animated raccoon.
Yes.
Oh, I wouldn't take that from Johnny. Come on. I would love to be animated raccoons together. That would
Oh,
be
both
fun.
two raccoons, like
Be the
brothers, raccoon brothers.
The
would-
masked
That'd be
bandits.
great.
We're almost. I've had a lot of fun tonight. We're almost at a wrap. Can we talk? Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap this thing up? Anybody? We've covered serial killers, plays, Benny's commercials,
That's right.
Alessandra's father with the sausage and the Italian bread, Steve in South Carolina, North Carolina, wherever the heck he was, Johnny, who I met him at the contest, Katie with the stuff she's acted in. What else? Anything else we can cover, Johnny, before we
I think that's it, man. I think
think
that's
that's
pretty
it.
much
We
everything.
we
I want to
talked about
clarify.
yeah.
the Spectacular Show? We talked about
Yeah.
that.
My podcast, Spectacular Show, please download it. I need to sell advertisements eventually and sell t-shirts. I don't have any yet, but I'll make them if I get more people listening. I want to clarify when I said I'm an excellent actor, I haven't acted in a lot. There are just a lot of people in my life that think I like them for real, but I don't. But they think that I do because I'm an excellent actor. That's what I wanted
yes.
to clarify.
Yes.
And yeah, thank you for having me on. This has been a lot of fun, like it always is. Please, again, Spectacular Show Pod. I need you to download that show so I can be rich and not have to sit at a desk anymore. It's the best. Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Johnny, we
Sammy
love
there?
having you. Katie, what was it like growing up with Johnny? I put her on the spot.
Wow.
I put her
no,
on
I'm
the
just
spot.
thinking of all the times that my middle brother and I would torture him, like literally annoy him. Like
Are you
I-
serious?
You guys were the
I have
worst.
like a memory of mine where I used to draw pictures and I'd plaster it all over his door. Jay, do you remember this? And one of the pictures was like, "I love steak."
Yes, I remember I Love Steak. Yeah, and you thought that was so funny to put I Love Steak on my door.
We're gonna
It's like
start a
it's-
Well,
family
that
feud
is
over
pretty
here.
funny, actually.
It's
you know.
true.
I did whatever I could to annoy him. It was bad. I feel really bad, but we actually got
My
closer.
son and daughter were absolute worst. He lives in Mexico City now. She lives in Mass, and that's where they belong. They can talk and stuff civil now, but when they were living here, you want to talk wars. My two kids, that'd be a whole nother
Yeah.
episode. The stress level was through the roof with them two. It was through the roof.
I
Well,
had
he didn't ever fight. That's the weird
Yeah.
thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
fought
I
with
just
my
took
middle
it and I
brother.
shoved it all down.
Yeah.
It helps
Yeah,
you
he
with your
protected
comedian
me.
later.
He was good.
I had 3 kids, and I had to buy a Toyota Sequoia because that was big enough that I could put the 3 kids and actually go someplace. Otherwise, they'd all be dead when we got there. So I had to buy a giant vehicle in order to get them from one place to the other
Yep.
without them being
I
killed.
Oh
got
wait,
the
can I
best thing.
share one thing? I
Yeah.
have this fond memory, and I don't know if my brother remembers this. I actually thought of this the other day. I remember being little. I think I was like 4 or 5 years old. We were at the Fleetwood House, Jay, the old house,
Yeah.
and Scott was like opening my eyes like this, like, Katie, eat this. And I think you were standing behind him, and he had me eat like dog food, like dry dog food.
I was not part of that. I do remember this day, but I wasn't part of like him doing it. Not at all. Because I would never trick my little sister like this.
Yeah, and my dad,
Right.
I told
You're
my
not
dad
on
about
trial,
my
Yeah,
John.
but you didn't say what it was. No, this she'll back me up. This is true. I would not have done this to her. Scott took such joy in doing this to her. So, but you didn't say what it was, Katie.
It was a pellet of dry dog food, and then I told my dad about it. My dad opened up a wet can of dog food and put a spoon in it and made my brother eat it.
Not me, Scott.
The
Yeah.
O'Connors.
Yeah, he had it coming. He had it coming. It should have been worse than dog food. It should have been something else, but
I thought it was
We got
you.
the next episode
No,
is
it
just
wasn't
going to be
me.
on the O'Connor family. I want to get
Yeah.
the other
Yeah,
brother
that
on.
sounds like we got to
Sure.
get Scott on.
Yeah, we'll get Scott on. We'll get a couple of other relatives. We'll have the O'Connor version.
Oh God, Jay, can you imagine our aunts on here?
no. Well, let's get him good and liquored up and then have him on.
Yeah.
All right, we're
That'll
gonna
be a
wrap this
show.
up. Johnny, the Spectacular Show podcast. You gotta check that out. What are they gonna download it? What are they gonna do? Download
Please
it? Johnny?
download it. Please download it. You can go
The
to iTunes.
Spectacular
You can go to
Show.
Google Podcasts. You can go to just Google Spectacular Show Podcast. You'll find it.
All right, you're the man, Johnny. I
You
love
are. Thank
Johnny.
you.
You're the
Love you
man.
too,
I
buddy.
love working with all you guys. Steve, what are you gonna say to wrap it up?
I don't know. I don't
Do you
have
have a
much.
podcast to plug?
I don't have a podcast. I don't have anything. I'm in my basement. I don't know. You can come visit me in my basement if you want. You know,
That's not the
I don't
first
know.
time.
I just know things are weird right now because the government keeps sending me money. So, that's never happened before.
You got a finished basement and a full head of hair.
I
dude.
got a
You're killing
finished
it.
basement.
You're
I got
killing it.
hair. Yeah.
Steve, are you a musician or a singer?
No, I cannot
you-
do either of those things.
I was gonna say you could write the song in my basement or alone in my basement.
In my basement, yes.
Thanks for
No,
coming on,
I can't.
Steve,
I
Johnny.
cannot sing. I can't do any of those things. And
We'll get you singing. Steve and Johnny, thanks. Katie, what are you gonna say to wrap it up, Katie?
Oh, thank you for having me. I love doing this every single time I come on here. It's someone new is on here that I haven't met before. And Alessandra, you are a queen. I love
Love you.
following you. I hope I get to see you
Likewise.
perform. And Steve, I've never seen you perform. I would love to see that. I'm always so inspired by you all. You are different. You are on another level than actors, in my opinion.
That was really sweet.
Thanks, Katie.
You
We love having you on, Katie. You're always an awesome guest. And Alessandra, you got the final word. You got the last word.
Why do you
Don't
do
make
this to
it
me?
epic.
Don't say
God.
sausage.
I mean, this is not what I was gonna say, but I had a thought just now that if Perrotta is on to Amazon now, then you should bring back the prop comedy.
You think so? Why should I
Right,
bring
like,
back
go-
the
yeah.
prop comedy?
Yeah,
What's that?
go order. You should be ordering all the new props and things that we want to see. You could Zoom. You could do a Zoom prop comedy. Bring it back.
I don't want to go back
I wanna
into
see
prop
it.
comedy. I don't want to be prop comedy. I don't want to do that.
Nobody wants it, but I would watch it.
I
But
would.
if
watch it.
you host it.
I would watch
You
that
host
show.
it.
I would watch that.
you need to get one of those rubber chickens.
You guys are nuts.
Yeah.
Just
All right,
do it.
guys. That's
Always
the
a pleasure.
show.
I love all of you.
This is the show. I want to thank Alessandra, Johnny, Steve, Katie for coming on. This was a great show. I had a lot of fun. We covered a lot of issues. Johnny's got the bow tie undone. We covered a lot of issues, and thanks for coming on, guys. And I'll see all you guys soon. Stay safe, stay healthy. Let's get through this pandemic and get back on stage. Katie, get back in the theater, and we'll be all set. All right, guys. Thanks for
Hell yeah.
coming on.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Good night.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care.